Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. A new poll by Opinium has shown that support for the SNP is plummeting. It is crashing and burning. It is down at their ankles and sinking fast. Likewise, support for Labour is sinking and, strangely, the Conservatives. So where's the support going? Well, Opinium are the first pollsters to factor in the Reform Party. You could even call it the Reform Factor, because it is now seen that Reform are rising very, very quickly in the polls in Scotland, even though, and weirdly, they've never actually canvassed there yet. They've not campaigned. They've not sat in an election yet. And yet, this survey by Opinion suggests that come 2026, and the figures they're receiving now, Reform will be the third largest party in Scotland, in Holyrood at least. That could make them kingmakers. That could make them the most important friends a party over there in Scotland could ever have. Well, who's likely to be the first one knocking on the door, begging them to go in for a deal? It's going to be the Tories, isn't it? And if the Tories just about scraped enough, along with Reform, that they could just about form a government, it would show the Tory party that they are absolutely reliant upon Reform. And when I say the Tory party, I don't mean Scots Tories, I mean Westminster. Westminster, at that point, would then have some seriously hard thinking to do. That's if it comes to that, of course. I think regardless of what happens, Westminster Tories have got a lot of hard thinking to do. And they're about to find that out come their conference. Depends on who goes through to the last two for the leadership contest. That'll be interesting. But the survey by Opinion, as I say, says that the support for the SNP has plunged to 32%. Now, that's still quite high for an individual party, but from where it was, I mean, that's a hell of a drop. And this is in the constituency vote, compared with the same company's data last year. It's also miles below the 47.7% that the party won in the same vote in 2021. So it's fallen, from 32, a 15% drop, though. That's a 15-point drop, sorry. But that is a 33% drop in satisfaction from 47 to 32. You know, you've lost a third of your support. Now, any party that loses a third of its support, especially when other parties are, let's just say, climbing in support, and we are still 18 months away, you know, they're in trouble, aren't they? Big time trouble. And they know it. And you have to ask, why? Well, we know why, don't we? Labour are going down the plug hole because of the winter payments in England and Wales, and the SNP are going down the plug hole because of the winter payments in Scotland. And it doesn't matter how often the SNP blame Westminster, it is their decision. They are, after all, still giving Angus Robertson even more money, despite cutting the winter fuel payments for pensioners, because it's important that fat arse gets on a plane as often as it can, or that caviar won't scoff itself. And so the SNP are becoming increasingly irrelevant, and people know it, and more importantly, they know it, which is why they are going down a line of doing ever more increasingly mad and bonkers things. The party's over, they know it, and they're just going out with a bang, I think. It's weird to say, isn't it? Anyway, we'll leave that there. Let me know what you think. Speak soon. Goodbye.